Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. Nothing's changed in Scranton.
The counting and recounting for Scranton's mayoral race is over. Election officials in Lackawanna County spent most of this day opening up voting machines and counting the numbers. But as Newswatch 16's Mark Annick reports, today's final tally is still the same. Wenzel wins.
It was a long, slow process, one that might have seemed longer because of what was at stake. The machines, all 136 of them, had to be raised up, opened up, and the numbers on the back had to be checked against the numbers sent back to the Board of Elections.
9B, McNulty. 9B is 100.
This machine was the first opened, and it's accurate. It shows the same numbers that were written down on election night. When all the machines were counted, they showed Dave Wenzel the winner by 120 votes, the same number reported since last week.
The long and the short of it is when you open the machine, the numbers match. To that, there is no question.
So you think Dave Wenzel's the next mayor?
I'd bet that way if I were you.
But Mayor McNulty's people say they have some objections. They say some seals on the machines were put on wrong. They also say some of the protective counters on the machines don't match the ones sent in.
I cannot make an official statement as far as the mayor is concerned whether or not he's going to challenge this election. He's looking into the numbers and exhausting all possibilities before he concedes.
The Election Return Board will meet Monday to try to iron out those objections. The county solicitor says he doesn't think there will be any major change in the results. The final cutoff for this election count is November 25th. Now that's the date when state law says the election board must certify a winner. So by then we should know who the mayor or the next mayor of the city of Scranton will be. Mark Annick, Newswatch 16, Scranton.
At PUC hearings, we're hearing over and over again that customers of PG&W don't want to pay more for their water because they say what they get out of their taps isn't worth it. It's the second day of hearings into PG&W's proposed $11 million rate hike request.
Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds is live at a hearing in Scranton to tell us now what PG&W has to say about all this. Bob?
Well, Nolan, Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company says it needs the water rate increase to basically improve its water supply system. Most of us have all heard about the dirty water and the water that ruins clothes. Well, today, I talked with the president of Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company, Glenn Gooch. I put tough questions to him, possibly the same questions you'd ask if you had the chance. Why should people pay for dirty water in the first place? Why doesn't PG&W cut water bills for people with dirty water? Glenn Gooch says some of the problem is a high mineral content in the water.
The water that we get and the terrain that we have to collect it in, they're just conditions beyond our control. And we just don't believe that, you know, we're responsible for that. If we were neglectful, then I think that that question would be a good one, and we should address it. And maybe we will.
PG&W is making money, so why doesn't it cut top management positions before going to the ratepayers?
The amount of money that could be cut back because of higher, the so-called management group, for example, would be a drop in the bucket. It wouldn't even be felt in this rate increase.
Glenn Gooch has something to say to those people who are complaining that PG&W doesn't deliver a clean, drinkable product.
But we will cure the problem sometime. These things can't be done overnight. It takes time to do. And we recognize we got a problem out there, and we're going to address it.
Now, Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company serves about 127,000 customers in Luzerne, Lackawanna, Wyoming, and Susquehanna counties. I also found out today that the public outcry that is being expressed during these public hearings may not be the last. Pennsylvania Gas and Water Company says Hurricane Gloria caused about $1 million in damage to its system. And PG&W President Gooch tells me the company will ask its customers to pick up that tab, too, sometime in the future. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16, with a live Instacam report in Scranton. Nolan, Karen?
Thank you, Bob. Concerns over water quality since the giardiasis outbreak have proven to be a gold mine for one type of business. And as Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini reports, the sales of bottled water continue to go up, even though the giardiasis crisis is over.
This water comes from a well 300 feet below Tunkhannock. 2 years ago, it took only 4 workers to meet demand for it. But then giardiasis became a household word in northeastern Pennsylvania. Now, Endless Mountain Water Company has 15 on the payroll. The bottles and jugs are still in demand, even though giardiasis fears have passed. Business is still way above what it was before the outbreak.
We're doing 3 times now than what we did when we started.
Before the giardiasis?
That's right. Just everybody's drinking more water, drinking more water. Bottled water. They don't want to drink that tap water.
It seems this kind of tap is becoming a more familiar sight. Newswatch 16 contacted several bottled water companies throughout our viewing area. They tell us their sales have gone up anywhere from 10 to 20% each of the past couple of years. Drinking water quality may be the issue of the 80s. Even in Nicholson, where the municipally run water system has had no major problems in recent memory, bottled water sales are up.
Sales have increased almost double.
Even though you've never had a water problem in this town?
That's right.
Why is that?
I think people are just more conscious of what they're drinking.
And that is good news for one type of business. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, Nicholson, Wyoming County.
Newswatch 16 continues in a moment.
It's a Thanksgiving harvest of values from Kelvinator. As American as apple pie, Kelvinator's dependable, affordable appliances have been an American tradition for over 70 years, and now they're on sale. We have a fantastic selection of refrigerators and freezers, ranges and dishwashers, mix and match washers and dryers, and more. Stop in now for this great sale on Kelvinator appliances. The Thanksgiving harvest of values from Kelvinator. Now at these area Kelvinator dealers.
I mean, like, we were I want to play on this one. What happened? Video Queen 1984.
Ordinarily, margarine doesn't stop conversation, but Mozilla margarine has such a fresh, light taste. It's too good for words.
About 250 Teamsters will be going back to work at Roth American on Monday. They voted today to accept a new contract and end picketing at the company. That picketing lasted nearly 2 weeks. Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke says the Teamsters feel their battle helped the image of labor in the Wyoming Valley.
If Scalar Bay said, we don't get what we lost, if he's solid, we're going to be solid.
A pep talk from Teamsters representative Al Barlow had many of these Roth American employees feeling secure about their jobs again. Almost 2 weeks ago, members of the Teamsters Union walked off their jobs in protest of the plant's new owner proposing pay and benefit cuts. The plant owner says it was necessary to be profitable. After this, the company, which makes playground equipment, started hiring non-union workers. This past week, union and management came up with an agreement. The Teamsters voted 184 to 63 in favor of it this morning in Wilkes-Barre. The contract basically keeps wages where they were before the protest. Are you pleased with the contract?
Well, it's better than having no job at all. That's all I have to say.
At least we have a job. At least we know we have some bread coming in.
Since the protest began, the company hired close to 70 non-union workers. Now the company is firing these workers because of the agreement that was reached with the Teamsters. Even though the Teamsters say they basically broke even with their settlement, they're still claiming victory because they say this dispute, if anything else, was an example for other industry in the Wyoming Valley. Proof that a workforce came out strong by staying united. Marisa Burke, Newswatch 16, Wilkes-Barre.
The settlement of the Roth American dispute means some non-union workers hired during the last 2 weeks are now out of work. A few of those people left the Pennsylvania Avenue plant this afternoon quietly. Situation leaves Bill Giroux of Glen Lyon disappointed.
I didn't plan on crossing the picket line for 2 weeks and putting up with everything else like that, you know, to have somebody turn around and tell me after 2 weeks, I settled with the union, you're out of a job. And
Giroux had been out of work for 7 months before finding work at Roth American. He now must find another way to support his wife and 5 children. Well, today turned out to be quite a beautiful day, after all.
It certainly did. We needed that sunshine. Picked up our spirits. Uh-oh.
Yes, just when you thought it was safe to put the umbrella away. The next storm is waiting in the wings, folks. When we come back, I'll tell you about some sub-freezing temperatures tonight, though.
America, how are you? You may not know me, but you know my name. I'm the old they call Cutlass Sierra, and I know the roads from Oregon to Maine. American Cutlass Sierra. Come and join me, I'm your native car. Come along, let me take you on a journey.
Say hello to your old friends of northeastern Pennsylvania.
Holiday savings begin at Stroud's. Super savings on the Oster Kitchen Center. 5 appliances in one. Sale $134.97. The Armatron A-Watch. Swiss quartz accuracy for men or ladies. Sale $17.90 each. The Brother AX10 electronic typewriter with lift-off correction. A great gift for the typist. Just $169.97. The holiday sale. Now at Stroud's.
Bill, you're not as much fun as you used to be.
Some folks don't know how much fun you can have with $1.
Everything costs more these days.
But other folks do know.
I always have fun with you.
Difference is, some folks don't know about the Pennsylvania Lottery's daily number game, and others do. They know daily number game prizes average more than $700,000 each day.
That looks like fun. What if the daily number game is the most fun you can have with $1?
A late news conference concerning that mayor's race in Scranton.
Kathy Bellich is live now at Scranton City Hall. Kathy?
Well, Nolan, the mayor has just congratulated Mayor-elect David Wenzel on his victory as the mayor of Scranton starting in 1986. So the mayor has conceded a week and a half after the election that David Wenzel has won the mayor's race in Scranton. The mayor thanked all of the people who voted for him in this election, and he says that he hopes he's given the city of Scranton a better name, and the rest of the country he feels that he has. Once again, Mayor James McNulty in Scranton has congratulated the person who has beat him in the last mayoral race, David Wenzel, the Republican candidate for mayor in this race this year. Kathy Bellich, Newswatch 16, live at the Instacam in Scranton.
Thank you, Kathy. Our Feed a Friend campaign to provide Thanksgiving meals to needy families in our area got over 2,000 items of canned goods today from competing high schools, 2 competing high schools in Luzerne County. I called on the students of the winning school, Lake Lehman, today during their football pep rally before tomorrow's game with Dallas. Now, Lake Lehman students collected over 1,200 cans of food. Dallas students just under that. And in thanking all of the Lake Lehman students, when we were there today, we said a special thanks went out to the class that beat the others. Thank you to the Key Club. And the winning sophomore class at Lake Lehman took those honors.
As you know, Feed a Friend drop-off points are all over northeastern and central Pennsylvania, including some of the shopping malls in our area. Well, tomorrow from 11 until 2, members of the Newswatch 16 team, along with WNEP TV personalities, will be visiting some of the malls. We'll be checking on the Feed a Friend food and money collection points. You can join us at the Wyoming Valley Mall, at the Viewmont Mall, the Pocono Village Mall, and the Schuylkill Mall. That's tomorrow from 11 until 2.
And now up to the backyard, and Tom will tell us about the weekend weather. Tom?
Okay, Nolan, thank you. Had some snow flurries in the mountains this morning. One of the first really cold days of the season. But outside now in the backyard, we have a thin crescent moon setting low in the western sky, and the temperature now has fallen down below 40. It now reads 37 degrees in my backyard. It's mostly clear at the moment. The humidity is not too bad today. 58% now. The wind north at 8. The barometer is rising. It's very high now, 30.44 inches of mercury. Had a high here today of 46 degrees. Kind of chilly. 37 of the low so far. 71 and 14 are the records for the date. 55 was the high a year ago. And a view today from Skycam 16 showing the sunny valleys of Tunkhannock there in Wyoming County. But if you want to give it a try tonight to see if you can find Halley's Comet, what you want to do is look about halfway up facing southeast, just below a small cluster of stars known as the Pleiades. Right about there. You must use binoculars, and you have to be away from city lights because the comet is still very, very dim in the sky, but you might be able to see it tonight. The latest satellite view, though, shows some very high, thin clouds over Pennsylvania. That could spoil the show tonight, though, but look to the west. A lot more cloud cover, very thick cloud cover, and even some rain falling from those clouds. So it doesn't look too promising, does it, folks, as we look west of Pennsylvania. Notice the latest radar image. Heavy thunderstorms flashing away in Arkansas, some rain and sleet showers now breaking out in northern Ohio, and even in some of the western counties of Pennsylvania. They're heading northeast at 25 miles per hour. Now, coming up next is my forecast for tonight. Partly starry. Okay, cold. Scranton about 28, Whitehaven 27, Mount Carmel checking in at 30 tonight. Montoursville 32, Sylvania, Bradford County 27. Maybe a few rain showers breaking out in some of the central counties within the next couple of hours. But I think for most of us through the evening hours tonight, it'll stay dry. Wear some gloves if you're going out to the football game tonight. It's kind of chilly outside tonight. Now, the wind will be out of the northeast. A sunrise tomorrow morning will occur at 6:52 behind some clouds, and the sunset at 4:44. Tonight, I'm going to call it partly cloudy. Now, I'm going to move these days up just once here. Saturday, tomorrow, chance of a little bit of sleet around in the morning, especially above 1,500 feet, only in the highest elevations. Then it'll change over to rain, periods of rain through the afternoon, even at Beaver Stadium. Not a heavy torrential downpour, but it will become windy, though, with temperatures rising up only about 42 degrees. A shower Sunday morning and then some sunshine. Sunday afternoon. Monday looks pretty good, and it'll stay mild again into Tuesday. Sorry about the mix-up over there, but since, you know, I am a graduate of the Penn State School of Meteorology, it is with great pride that I picked Penn State to be the victorious team tomorrow.
Okay, you have your allegiances there. All right.
And all those gremlins on your board must be from Notre Dame, then, isn't that right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of things will be decided on the high school and college football levels the next 2 days. Joe Zone will have that on the Sports Watch.
Plus, a talk with somebody who has seen as many good college teams as anyone.
Think IGA today.
IGA is having a spectacular fall festival with savings like these in every department. A 100-foot roll of Saran Wrap, $1.48, or zesty Hunt's tomato sauce, 5 8-ounce cans, 98 cents, or an assorted variety of family pack tasty cakes, 12-ounce package, $1.18, or warm up with Swiss Miss Cocoa, 12-pack, $1.08. And pick up this week's Let's Go to the Races tickets at IGA today. And
Think IGA.
Well, we're counting down to the kickoff. Can't wait.
I don't like Clarky's forecast.
Yeah, that's right.
Rain and sleet and everything tomorrow.
Not too good.
We'll give you a chance to give your picks in just a couple of seconds because I know the whole area is just waiting for those.
Yeah.
A lot of people have had something to say about this Penn State-Notre Dame game. Most, as far as I'm concerned, don't know what they're talking about. I mean, I'm listening to noise from people who haven't seen a football game this year. Keith Jackson, on the other hand, has seen as many games as anyone. The ABC play-by-play man has watched the best teams in the country week in and week out. A little while ago, I had a chance to speak with Mr. Jackson via satellite about some of the criticism concerning Penn State's #1 ranking.
When you won them all, just like BYU last year, based on, it is the presumption, is the premise of the polls, that if you win them all, you're #1. And that's the way the votes are cast. I don't know that Penn State is the best football team in the country. I don't know which team is the best football team in the country. I think Miami's pretty good. I think Oklahoma's pretty good. But right now, Penn State is 9-0.
Very interesting. And one last thing, you've seen Penn State at least twice this year. You've seen Notre Dame. Your view of the matchup tomorrow on the field?
I think they play just alike. I think they almost mirror each other. Their talent is comparable. And I hope, you know, I'm very selfish about this thing. If I'm going to travel all the way across the country to watch a football game, I want to see a good one, right? So I'd like to see it go down to the last 8 seconds and one of the place kickers kick a field goal. That would make it a nice trip.
And, of course, since Jackson's calling the game tomorrow, he would not make a pick on the game. He will be handling the play-by-play chores. As I said, a 3:30 kickoff. You can see it here on 16. And what are you going to see? Well, no doubt you'll see two of the best runners in the country. Notre Dame's Alan Pinkett has rushed for almost 4,000 yards, more than 800 this year. Penn State's DJ Dozier has 2,200 career yards in one less season than Pinkett, 600 this year. And if it's wet and sloppy tomorrow, these two runners may well be the difference. You'll also see a fired-up Penn State team, one that hasn't forgotten last season's 44-7 loss at Notre Dame.
There are a lot of reasons to play particularly well in this football game. That's one of them, not the only one. But there's only a certain level of emotion that you can reach, and I think that regardless of what would have happened last year, we're probably going to be at that level.
For the Fighting Irish, it is a chance to win some respect and some momentum going into their final 2 games. Now, I must tell you, I have changed my opinion on this game just a little bit. Earlier in the week, I thought it might be a knockdown, drag-out squeaker for Penn State. The more I've watched, the more I've listened, the more I think that Penn State is going to win big tomorrow. And I'm sorry, Notre Dame fans, they're going to win big. Look for Schaefer, who was coached in high school by Notre Dame coach Jerry Faust, to have his best game as a Penn State quarterback. Penn State 24, Notre Dame 10. Well, there's an awful lot of important high school football tonight. We got a wild card game at stake, a District 11 title up for grabs. John Evans has a look at tonight's key games.
In the Eastern Conference, 10th-ranked West Scranton, with a win tonight over Riverside, will just about clinch the Class A wild card spot. Should West Scranton lose or tie, and 6th-ranked Wyoming area beat Pittston area tonight, the Warriors would be the wild card. Should they both lose or tie, then Pottsville would be the wild card. 3 playoff games on the schedule tonight. In District 11, the Class A championship game, with 13th-ranked Marion Catholic taking on Freeland, goes at Panther Valley Stadium in Lansford. And District 6, 2 semifinals tonight. In Quad A, Phillipsburg Osceola takes on Indiana of Pennsylvania at Altoona. And in Class A, Bucktail takes on Juniata Valley at Lock Haven. John Evans, Sports Watch 16.
And while we're all wrapped up in this football stuff, let's not forget the Lackawanna Trail field hockey team. They won today in the state semifinals. They beat Warwick 1-0 in overtime. Tomorrow, Lackawanna Trail plays for the field hockey state title. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. See you at Sports Final. You and Nolan want to use the Ouija board to make your picks on the games? I know you use that normally to pick your lead stories, but...
Yeah, that's right. Oh, not nice, not nice.
Not nice.
We'll have fun with this.
Who's going to win?
Got to go with Notre Dame, Joe.
Nolan?
Well, I'll tell you. My head says Notre Dame, but my heart says Penn State in a squeaker.
And what do you say, I say squeaker,
Penn State in a squeaker.
Bye.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Newswatch 16 continues with a video game that tests a student's knowledge.
We'll show you what some area high school students are doing that makes them unique in Pennsylvania.
What we've got here is a rare bird, a white Purdue chicken. I don't know where it went wrong. Maybe it caught a cold. Maybe it went off its feed. All I know is that somewhere along the line it got fouled up and lost its gold and yellow color. It also lost its right to wear the Purdue name tag. Occasionally, one of my chickens disappoints me, but I make sure of one thing. It will never disappoint you.
Sooner or later, Buick's gonna move ya.
A new American standard of value. The 1986 front-wheel drive Buick Skylark. Sticker price? So surprisingly affordable. You want to buy one right now.
Sooner or later.
Sooner or later, your Buick dealer's going to move you.
Sooner or later, Buick's gonna move ya.
And finally tonight, some high school seniors in Luzerne County are really putting their time to good use. Their Time magazine, that is. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports how the magazine and a computer are making current events class something unique.
These Bishop Hoban High School seniors in Wilkes-Barre are part of a unique national program called the Time Magazine Cover Maker Project. The students and others in 39 different schools across the country are taking a 20-question current events quiz on the computer. The open book test is based on each week's issue of Time Magazine. Just to give you an idea of the questions, a federal court in Baltimore is trying John Walker and members of his family for blank. Well, the answer, as you may remember, is spying. The students say the combination of current events and the computer are making class a lot more fun.
Well, it got me more involved with the computer. I hadn't used computers too much before now, and I thought it was better for me to run the computer. And then I liked reading the Time magazine and getting more involved with politics and stuff, which I hadn't thought about before.
And it gives you an incentive to read the magazines. Like, instead of just reading them and taking a written test, using the computer is a little more interesting.
But the students aren't the only ones enjoying class. Teacher Henry Moriarty is also very enthusiastic.
and I take the test to see how it's going to match up with the students. And I know I've felt very stupid a few times after I've read the magazine and go through and not be able to answer some of the questions. It keeps me on the ball also.
The weekly results are fed into a master computer, and eventually these aspiring current events experts will know how they match up against the others involved in the Cover Maker project. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Wilkes-Barre.
And that is Newswatch 16 for Friday.
Be sure to join us tonight on The Update when we'll show you what's new at the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Airport.
Plus, Joe Zote and Tim Carlson will have all the high school football highlights and scores on Sports Final, 16 Sports Final, the final of the season.
ABC's World News Tonight is next.
For the team, thank you for joining us.
Enjoy your evening.